Blue top, blue top, blue top. Advice I would give to women out there, stand firm. Know you're not a bitch. Know you're not a diva. You know what you want, and you're capable. You're intelligent. There are other resources. So if you feel like that person is closing the door on you, promise you there are millions of other doors. You just have to, keep going and keep your head up and know that there are women like me cheering for you, rooting for you, and hit me up. Maybe we could work together. Hello, FTC world. My name is Silva. I am the founder and CEO of Silva Line Productions. As Silva, I am a host, a personality, a celebrity correspondent. As the Silva Line Productions, I do a lot of talent scouting. I book artists and talent for different events, shows, opportunities and situations around New York City and sometimes outside of New York City. I have a full functioning production company. I create opportunities for media, whether it's red carpet situations, whether it's interviews, brand partnerships with organizations, nonprofits, advice. I just create all around experiences. That's my main motivation in everything that I do. I want people to feel something. I want you to leave my event. I want you to, once you press pause or stop on my interviews or any recordings or any visuals of me, that you've learned something, that you maybe laughed, that you felt something, but all around that you had an experience. So a day in the life with Silva starts off with a bunch of phone calls from 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, a bunch of emails. I just wake up and sometimes I forget to even eat or brush my teeth. I just get right to it. Sometimes my day can consist of creating bios for artists. It can consist of being a liaison between a big brand and a media brand or an artist and a label, or even just for me, just event planning, setting up my next interview, setting up my next event or show, or, preparing for a concert or out of work trip, stuff like that. A day in the life with Silva can be really fun. It can be really eventful. It can be exciting. It can be tiring, but when you're having fun, it doesn't feel like work. So a day in the life with me, just to sum it up, is just a good time. I manage everything on my plate by having dope people around me, for one. I believe everybody has something that they're good at, something that is their purpose. So people who are associated with me, I would call them a team, but everyone has their own situation. So I have Broadway, for example, who is a lipstick brand. She is the owner, CEO, founder, and facilitator of Empress Lipstick and Fashion. And we partner on events. She'll sponsor events and give me, product and stuff like that. So that'll be her role. And then I'll have somebody else like Andre, who handles all of my visuals and my media and stuff like that. So everyone has a role. So I don't put too much on my plate anymore. I like to involve myself with people who are like-minded in the sense that we want to, make this world a better place and provide good content. So everyone has their role, and we all just come together and we facilitate things to make each other's brands grow and just make people happy. Some of the things that I've learned, which will go back to what I was saying before about having a team, but also having your team have their own individual areas of expertise. I feel like team dynamics can sometimes be more negative than good in a way, depending on your intentions and how you conduct yourself in the environment. I feel like sometimes people get complacent in teams, or you'll feel like you're doing too much work in a team. So I've just learned from working with different individuals who have different personalities that it's better if everybody has their own purpose. So me being the type of person that I am, if I see something that you're interested in, which also goes into Silva Line Productions, I'll help you grow that interest and put down some groundwork and some foundation for whatever it is that you want to do long term. So just helpful advice. If you're going to work with a team, make sure that you have your own individual situations. Something else that I learned is that you can want something to be like exact, or you could want something to be as perfect as it can be, but nothing is going to be exact. Nothing's going to be perfect. Nothing's going to be exactly how you want it to be. So you have to always have a plan B, C, D, sometimes all the way to Z. Always be prepared for a rainy day. Be prepared for someone to cancel on you. Be prepared for, something to go wrong, a light to go out, anything. Just know if it's an event, know what you want the event to look like, but also know what can go wrong at the event. If it's working with an artist, know that the artist is the interest, whatever it is that they want is what you have to facilitate, but at the same time, too, don't get too attached or emotional and feel like if something goes wrong with the artist, it's, the end of the world. So have a good understanding of when you should attach yourself and when you should, kind of detach yourself. Those are some helpful tips that I learned. Being in the industry, dealing with music, media, entertainment, all of that stuff, teams are going to be the most important thing, and knowing what you want out of the situation is going to be the most important thing. Some of the challenges I faced, just being a Black woman, to be honest, I don't try to make that my issue, but other people make it my issue. So I just... In that, I have to stay focused. I have to be vigilant in certain environments that I'm in, because I've been in compromising positions. Again, as a woman, a lot of different people, not even just men, but primarily men, would try to, over-sexualize the situation, undermine you, downplay you, sometimes even go around you. As a woman, I feel like sometimes men or people in general, because I would say that there are some women that kind of fall into this as well, is that they don't take you seriously if you're not attached to a man or if you're not attached to a bigger situation, as if you can't conduct whatever business it is that you're conducting by yourself. If you're not intelligent enough, if you're not this. None of those things are true. That's what I learned is an insecurity, or just maybe a projection of intimidation sometimes. So those are challenges that I deal with almost on a daily basis. I've been dealing with the industry for a couple years now, and I never really took the leap into throwing myself all the way completely in because of situations like that. And there was a point in time that I was, not necessarily scared, but I was more aware of that dark side of the industry and how much of a male-dominated industry a lot of these, situations are in terms of music, media, and even fashion. So just advice I would give to women out there: stand firm. Know you're not a bitch. Know you're not a diva. You know what you want, and you're capable. You're intelligent. There are other resources. So if you feel like that person is closing the door on you, promise you there are millions of other doors. You just have to, keep going and keep your head up and know that there are women like me cheering for you, rooting for you, and hit me up. Maybe we could work together. So You Want Me is a media and entertainment panel. It takes a look behind the scenes of the music industry, the media industry, but also mental health, as mentioned. The driving force behind that was just for a long time, I wanted to create a series that reached people, because I reach people on different levels. Visually, I have, you can go on YouTube and you can find different things that I'm a part of. There's audio, but like in terms of getting in front of people and having a real human interaction, a human connection to people, and, having that conversation of, okay, yes, you can Google something, but having someone who is actively in the industry that you want to go into and being able to have an intimate conversation and ask the right questions to help you actually put down a foundation, and get things going and start working. I feel like that was very important. And not just that, but knowing what the situation comes with, knowing what the business comes with, knowing what the industry comes with. I feel like that's important too, because oftentimes people don't know about, certain backdoor things or certain demeaning things or certain discriminative things until they're in the experience. So they might not necessarily know how to deal with it. And there has been way too many times where someone has either been killed or killed themselves in this industry because of lack of a conversation or just lack of awareness, lack of accountability, responsibility, conversation, and again, that human connection. Having certain experiences myself with this industry, like I mentioned before, I felt like it was important to share those experiences, because sometimes sharing those experiences allow for people to understand that they're not alone. I had a situation where someone had an issue with my weight. I was working on a set of a TV show, and some of the people, they mentioned like, oh, like, don't you see everybody else? Like they're bigger, they're thicker, they're more curvy, they're this and that. So why don't you, do a couple things? And some of the things was like detrimental to my health. But this was their advice. Like, I wouldn't be able to make it if I didn't look like this. You know what I'm saying? So now I've shared my story with people, and I've had a couple people come forward. I've had a couple, people open their eyes more to even their own actions and how they continue to push this narrative of, you have to look a certain way, you have to act a certain way, you have to talk a certain way. None of those things are real. You know what I'm saying? No, none of those things even matter now, especially when you can go on social media and create your own brand just, sitting in your house. So for somebody to tell you that you have to change who you are and what you believe, or even your sexual orientation or who you identify as, somebody telling you that you are not allowed to be yourself in order for you to come into, this environment, like, I feel like that's wrong. So having a conversation again and just shedding light and opening the door for the conversation so that people feel more comfortable and that they have not only the resources, the conversation, but we're actually doing things to take a step forward in getting away from that negative, stereotype or narrative and stuff like that. So you want me, my third panel for the month of March, I'm going into my third panel for Women's Month. And that's very important to me because, again, like, I am a Black woman. I've had a lot of experience from even childhood with dealing with just men and sometimes even women in terms of, like, sexuality, in terms of discrimination, in terms of, like, just pure hate sometimes. Like, I've personally had a lot of experiences growing up. I thought that, being a woman was synonymous with being weak, you know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of things that I learned about myself, and I feel like this being Women's Month is important for me to have a panel about women so that we could talk about different things that we've dealt with growing up, different things that we've dealt with, tying it into the music and media and even the fashion industry. But, being a helping hand, being a shoulder, and being an advocate for, women empowerment, I feel like that's very important for this month. So every month, You Want Me Media Entertainment panel series, we concentrate on, things in the community or things that affect us personally or something that's going to create a better world for us going forward. that's what my focus is. One of my inspirations for the panel, I started it in January 2020, was Raja Rose, RIP. Unfortunately, he passed. And I've had different conversations with him. I consider him a friend. I've had different conversations with him on different platforms and in different ways about the depression that he was dealing with, about, loss that he dealt with. And when I say dealing with, I don't even mean that he processed it all the way, but in the way that he processed it, affected his day-to-day living. There was a point in time, and it's, public knowledge, that he, overdosed, and he had different situations with like drugs and alcohol. So knowing and understanding that in this industry, it can be hard, it can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be like that. Like, we can be the people to change the narrative. We can be the people to, cut down on the, the suicide rate and the murder rate, and there are women getting raped till this day in the industry, and people are not talking about it. Women are not comfortable coming forward, and even men. There are men being harassed in this industry and not feeling comfortable talking about it and stuff like that. So I feel like all of this is important to talk about. There's certain taboo topics that we just need to just cut it out and just, put ourselves in a position to hear and just listen and obtain this knowledge and understand that everybody has a story, everybody has a situation, and us understanding each other will make this a better place for everybody. So tune in March 14th, Offset Tavern. Hope to see you there. Link in my bio. So Heart and Soul, the art exhibition, is an art exhibition I started in 2016. This year, June, will be, I believe, my 6th exhibition. And so what I do with Heart Soul is I felt like there was a need in the community and just like a restoration. It's the exhibition is in Harlem. Harlem, we know, is known for like the Renaissance, art, culture, fashion, literacy. Like, all of these things were so huge in our Black culture, and it happened in Harlem. So it was important for me to have my art exhibition in Harlem. So what I do with the art exhibition is that's one of the events that I use. I talent scout, and I bring people into this one, venue, and we're able to experience different types of art. So we'll have like visual artists, painters, sculptors. We'll have dancers, different types of dance, where we have a pole dancer, and it's not like a super provocative type of situation. Everything is done tastefully because it's art. It's art. So we'll have like a freestyle dancer, and then we'll have pole dancer. We'll have massage therapy. That's an art form within itself. We'll have musical artists come and perform. I get a bunch of sponsors so that it's worth, again, the experience. I like to create experiences. So there's, photo area, there's media taking all types of beautiful angles of everything that's going on. There's music for my DJ Focus. There's everything that you can think of that is a vibe, that makes you think of Black culture, that makes you think of happiness and fun and just being free in that moment. That's Heart Soul, the art exhibition. It's family, it's fun, it's a vibe, and again, it's a platform that I use to, display different talents, different young talents that don't necessarily have the platform. So it happens semi-annually. It's a super dope event. The biggest part of it is I attach it to a nonprofit. So originally it was Safe Horizon because domestic violence is something that I'm very big on and I'm a big advocate for. And now going forward, we have been doing more of like sex cells. That's the theme. But it's not to say that, we're doing anything that's like illegal, first of all. But we're celebrating sex. We're celebrating sex. We're taking away all of the negative connotations that come with sex, and we're celebrating it with the arts, with the movement, with the conversation, with the sponsors, and also with the education that I'm trying to attach to it. So we want to cut down on different sexually transmitted diseases. We want to be more aware of what we can, get and give, even if it's just like energy, like just knowing that energy is transferable. So if you're having sex with somebody, just being aware of that. So stuff like that. I think that Heart Soul, the art exhibition, is growing. In December, we did a partnership with Michael Pickney, who is a filmmaker. He works with like Spike Lee and a lot of dope people. He recently became a visual artist. So he has a bunch of paintings and pieces that talk about like the Black experience and stuff like that. So we did a 3-day weekend collaboration from the end of November into December. And it was a really, really dope experience. So I can say that Heart Soul is growing, and I'm very excited about it. The more people that we reach, the better. If you're a visual artist out there, or any type of artist really, contact me. Let's work. Let's push this thing forward. And also, I have to say, shout out to Follow the Culture. They have been with me since I believe the second, if not the first, art exhibition. They've been capturing the visuals. So if you go on Follow the Culture on YouTube, you'll be able to see a lot of recaps from the event. We have a wine sponsor, so we get free wine. Shout out to Chef Nitty. He caters the event, so we have nice hors d'oeuvres. And again, once you come inside, it's donation-based. Everything, for the most part, is free, and it's an experience. So I'm proud of that. That's my baby. So once again, my name is Silva, Silva Line Productions. To learn more about me or to be a part of anything that I have, my podcast, Posting for a Friend, my art exhibition, Heart Soul, the art exhibition, my panel series, You Want Me, media entertainment panel series, to get on any shows, to get any interviews, music exclusives. I'm a celebrity correspondent with them. And brand ambassador. I also work with a lot of different brands. Right now, I'm branching out to consulting for restaurants. So I'm helping build restaurants now. So if you do want to work with me and any of the people that I work with, follow me at a Silva Line Productions, Silva spelled Silva. You can follow my personal page, King Silvy, KINGSLVY. Email me at silvaliningproductions@gmail.com. I do want to shout out some of the brands that I work with: Empress Lipstick and Fashion, Verizon, Samsung, Brooklyn Gives, First Semester, Sprayground, Music Exclusives, BET. There's plenty more. But also, if you want any visual or media content creations or consultations, make sure you follow the culture. Go to Follow the Culture on Instagram or YouTube to see any recaps from any of my events.